Right. What prompted you to say yes to Challenge versus Stars season 3?
First of all, the charity aspect of it, obviously.
Who are you playing for? Remind us.
Global Down Syndrome. And I'd done a few of these types of shows like Fear Factor and Splash, which was, I'll tell you,
insane.
Challenge versus Stars was difficult, but there is absolutely nothing. I'm sure that's why they only did one season of Splash. But there's nothing that could compare to doing that show.
We had that format.
That was the most intense. Yeah. That's where we got it from, the UK, exactly. But the UK version, it was much more like Falling with the Stars. Like there was a lot of going. Like the US version, they wanted to amp it up, so they were having us progress. We were being coached by these Olympic coaches, and Greg Louganis we were working with, and they would come up to us and go, "Okay, well, this is what the production wants you guys to be doing this week," and okay, I don't know what. Like they were really like, "This is dangerous.
So
we can't be having you do these things that professional divers are doing. You guys have been diving for a month."
But you still finished third.
But we still, I finished third. Yeah,
insane.
I finished third, but I must say, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm going to.
Go for it.
I was the best diver on the show.
Hey,
if it was an actual diving competition, I was the best diver, because people got through with like going to their feet or doing some, like Rory, who won, who's freaking incredible, who's a really good friend of mine. He's an Olympic skier. Yeah. Like but crazy stuff where he gets dropped out of a helicopter and chased by an avalanche and does all this extreme crazy flips.
Super agile.
So he's not afraid of anything.
Right,
basically.
got you.
And he just runs off of the 30-foot high dive and does like 3 triple gainers and all this crazy stuff. So he was doing cool, flashy stuff, but nothing that was regulation dive.
So like technical.
I mean? Nothing
so
technical.
So let's say it was you and him at the Olympic Games, you'd be getting those 10 points.
I would win.
He might get 6.
If we were at the state fair, everyone would want to watch him.
He'd be a spectacle.
Yeah, he'd be like the one that would jump off the high thing and do 3 backflips and then land on his feet, and everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh!" But if we were in an Olympic meet and they were like, "Okay, we'll do a 2.5 or a 1.5 or a arm stand somersault or 3 whatever,"
you'd smash him.
Well, then there's a real competition. Yeah.
And talking about real competition, did you know what you were signing up for?
No.
Had you seen it before? Like,
no.
Had you watched anything like that?
No.
You literally just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
No, I'd never seen it before. But
Insane.
My friends were like, "Yeah, I love that show. I watched that show. It's really cool. You should go do it." I was like, "All right, cool." And I was expecting, Fear Factor. I was expecting, like, get to the jungle gym, the top of the jungle gym the fastest, or, win the race.
Crazy.
And then move on. And if you lose, you get eliminated.
So how soon into the game did you realize there's something else going on? And this is like a game within a game?
Well, I didn't realize that until... it actually took a little bit, because I was just so frustrated with everything that was happening around that it took a minute for me to actually be able to focus on the actual game. Mm-hmm. But I would say probably... Oh, man.
Because, I mean, I'm
trying to think of the order of the challenges.
We had Arian Foster, didn't we?
You know what? I would say probably right then. I would say right when Casper and Arian were thrown in and everyone's like, "Oh, least valuable player. Oh, we want to we want to call it the most ready player." It's like, no, we want to call that the most get him out of here player.
Of course.
Yeah, so I guess when they threw Arian in, it was pretty obvious. And then when they didn't save Arian, and Arian's shock on his face was like,
"Yo, I'm going home."
Yeah, that made me go, "Oh, okay, these guys are trying to act, and they're not doing a very good job."
Yeah, for real.
They're like, "Oh, yeah, they just, they try to put on that face, and it's they showed their hand pretty
early. I mean, I remember saying
early
to Wes, "You guys really showed your asses."
Mm-hmm.
So we see you almost take like a backseat role, like straight out of the gate. Was that part of your strategy? Now you know, knowing that it's now that kind of champs versus stars scenario?
I mean, honestly, I was just trying to stay in the game, you know? I mean, I was just trying to stay in the game, and I don't know. I'm not into, like, I like to hang out and have a good time and like have good vibes with people and stuff. So whenever we got into that lounge, that players lounge,
yeah.
Whenever we got into the players lounge, the vibes, it was just like got sucked out of the room, you know, and then it all just started to become like
down to business.
Well, not just down to business, but it was also like, you know, what dramatic thing or cutting thing can I say to get more camera time, and what can I do to get under that person's skin, and now what can I was like, yo, we were just hanging outside this room, all vibing each other and having a great time, and now we're in here. So I think that was my sort of why I was laying low, and then it just became a strategy after I started discovering sort of like, oh, by doing this, I keep the target off my head. You know, I keep a target off my back. So yeah, I think it just started with me going, I like the van rides. I don't like the players lounge. So I'll you know, I'm yakety yak in the van, but once the players lounge happens, you know, it's like, why is everyone yelling at each other?
Because we see you in a number of scenes in the early episodes where you are in the players lounge and things are popping off and you are just zen.
Yeah.
It's almost like you've tuned out. You're just like not getting involved when that drama pops up.
Well, completely. I mean, I've got, you know, it's like I like Devin. I love Hennessy. These are all people that I've gotten along with. And, you know, the producers are purposely, and this is the other thing that I knew as well, is like, coming from a background, you know, a television background, I immediately noticed, okay, something's up here, because I'm used to getting onto set and going up to the camera guys and be like, oh, hey, Jim, good morning. Oh, hey, what's up, Ted? Hey, hey, how's your weekend? You know, Sarah. Oh, hey, guys, what's going on? And you know, and being friends with the sound people and it all being a family.
Right.
You know? And they were so shut off from us, and the crew was so, you know, wouldn't talk to us and wouldn't. So I was like, oh, you're creating an adversarial relationship here.
Right.
This is purposeful. So you want to get under our skin and you want to drive us insane. So I started noticing that, because I was like, this isn't like a normal set. Why isn't there a camaraderie being built here?
Vibing?
You know, why on day 9 is my relationship with these 3 producers the same as it was on day 1? Like, that's very, very weird for me with my background, you know? So I started noticing, oh, they're putting us in a fishbowl.
Right.
And they're wanting to watch us from the outside, and it's Truman Show, and they're wanting to create conflict and create storyline and all of this stuff. So I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. You know, this is not normal. This is not what it's supposed to be. So that also was me sort of going, I just have to keep my cool, because these guys are everyone here is pressing buttons, you know? And that's why, for example, like Hennessy blew up, you know, and Devin, everybody, is because they you know, they call you down and then they make you wait forever.
Yep.
And then, you know, then someone else comes down, and then everything gets the production. It's not the production's fault. No, they shift all the blame onto the person. Then and then they get the explosion that they were waiting for. Right. You know, so I just, you know,
because actually at the moment when like Hennessy was coming, I actually wasn't even in the room.
Yeah.
And there are kind of memes of you sat there through that Devon and Hennessy kind of argument just with a straight face. Yeah. I wasn't in the room because I was popping out, going to the bathroom, and made it look as though, and it played as though Henny was, you know, we'd been waiting for her for like a day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and also, I mean, like, how like, bummer, you had to wait. Like, how many times have we been on a set that you had to wait for somebody, and then
did you feel that
if they show up and they do their job, I mean, whoa,
hey,
I just sunk in my chair. You know, you can, like, if they show up and they do their job, like, yeah, I guess, you know, it is annoying and whatever, but just don't add fuel to the fire. Like, just help, because then you're affecting everyone on the set. You know what I mean? Like, if you're sitting there, and that's the thing that bothered me about Devin, was he was like trying to take one for the team and be like, no, I'm doing this because it's like it's unfair to you guys.
Feel like he was antagonizing the situation.
Yeah, it was like unfair to you guys. I'm like, bro, then what you do is you act like a big boy and you say, all right, guys, Hennessy's here. We can all get to work. But instead, you acted like a child or somebody who's never been in this environment before. You attack, and then because you obviously know what Hennessy's going to do. So then you attack, Hennessy blows up. And now there's another half hour that you've got camera crew, producers, PAs, sound people, all of us now sitting around waiting around when you were like just 5 minutes ago complaining about that. And I'm like, well, how does that help the situation? You know what I mean? But he did great. He did get good TV. So, I mean, I guess that's the most important thing.
And so we're talking about those conflicts. So you know that those characters are there to press your buttons. Were there anyone you were kind of like, yeah, I'm wary of that person straight out the gate?
Wes, 100%.
Yeah.
Just because it's like he was just there's, I don't know. He was obvious. You know what I mean? He's obvious. There's like, he's like that person that walks into the room and you just immediately are like...
You didn't take to him at all, did you?
No.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. There was just something like obvious about, I know that I can undermine all these people. I'm just like...
He's got no idea.
Yeah, it was... I don't know. There was just like an air about him. Like he just thought he was King Kahuna of the game. And I was just like, okay, cool. I mean, then go and win. Like, but I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
but everybody else, I mean, I really vibed with. I had a great time, and that's like we were talking earlier. I was like, man, if there's anything I got out of the show, doing the show, was I've made incredible friends. You know what I mean? Like it's so funny. Like I'm on tour.
Four
I'm
corners.
out, yeah, exactly. I'm out on tour, and I'm in this group text message, and it's like, are we going to salsa, or are you guys coming over to watch the show and all this stuff? I'm like, what the heck? You guys are all hanging out. I'm missing all the fun. I'm like, the show was a month ago and we're all still like keeping in contact and
for
stuff.
For real. It's quite special.
Yeah.
So for the viewers that haven't tuned in yet, there is an alliance going on called the Four Corners. Drake, you take it away. Tell me about the Four Corners.
Well, first of all, the people who haven't tuned in don't matter. No. No, you guys got to check out the show. It is wild and crazy. It's like nothing I really expected or thought I was getting myself into. But the Four Corners are me, Booby, Louise, and Casper. And I don't know. I think Booby and I were this, kind of. I was sort of watching Booby and I think Booby and I were like partners, and I think you and Casper were like, teaming up, and then I don't know, we kind of just became this little unit that became essential to get us through.
You think it was instrumental to
absolutely
survival?
Absolutely. I mean, I know it was instrumental in keeping me around. But yeah, I think that was a really good. I think honestly, the best strategy that we've had. I mean, I can't talk about what's happening. I can only talk about what's happened so far. But I think the best strategy that we had and that we're going to have throughout the show is remembering the title of the show. Mm-hmm. Is like remembering it is Champs versus Stars, and they want to get rid of us. No matter how much the red team or the blue team are saying, "Oh, now we're a team. We're all playing for each other." Like we have to remember, They didn't name the show Blurred Lines. Right, for real. It's called Champs versus Stars. So we really have to stay united, even though, and I think that, that's, just as I'm speaking, the thought came to me is, like, that's probably, they were thinking, oh, let's separate them because the Champs have such such leverage because they've done the show. They some of them have won. Mm-hmm. But I think what they were really doing is saying, let's see if they can keep together and let's see if they can keep united by separating them and see if they can still be a unit and come together,
or whether
and
they're
be the stars,
politics,
or if they're going to separate and then be taken down by the champs.
For real.
You know, because if we separated, and the producers knew this, they were probably like, okay, if the stars separate,
yep,
and then they don't stay united separately, the champs are going to take them down.
For real.
But if we separate them, and they don't become red and blue and they remain stars, then they have a chance to continue through. And I think that's the best strategy.
For real.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about something that perhaps hasn't been seen yet. But so there comes a situation where we're asked to pair up. And Booby chooses Wes.
Can you say
over
that?
You. This is going to go out later.
Okay. I'm like, dude, there's like $1 million like fee if we get like. Have you read the contract?
This is going to go out way after.
All right,
the event.
cool.
Let's do this.
Cool. Yes, Casper picks. Wait, Booby picks Wes. Yes,
and you pick Kayla.
Better go after. I signed that contract. I picked Kayla. I was surprised that Booby. I'm surprised that Booby picked Wes.
Because you could, at that moment in time, Booby picked Wes over you.
Yeah.
And you said obviously you two had this little alliance, and we were the four corners.
Yes.
And you could have gone Lil Mama or Tori, but you picked Kayla. What were your thoughts after? Booby.
I didn't feel. Well? I love Tori. I think she would have been a great partner, like as far as our hang sessions and just, being friends. But she just wasn't performing well enough in the challenges, I feel, to keep us going. She had really good, politicking with CT and Tony, but as far as her performances in the challenges, they just weren't up to par with Kayla, and I knew that Kayla had the same loyalty with CT and Tony. So, and she'd been killing it in the challenges, and also she kind of, other than the few times that she blew up, and well, not blew up, but was a little
feisty.
She spoke up. Let's put it that way. The few times she spoke up in the champs lounge, the players lounge, she sort of held back and was playing the game the same way I was. It was kind of just sitting back, watching, just going like, just keep me in the game. Don't put a target on my head. Keep my loyalty.
Yep.
And
so she kind of had that big blow up and then kind of settled down.
Yeah.
And I feel like Tony did the same thing. He blew up the first week and then kind of simmered down.
Yeah.
And thought about his
Tony played the same way.
Long-term survival.
Exactly.
So did you see a little bit of yourself in her then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's why I picked her. I was like, oh, she's playing it like me. She's all tatted up like me.
Did your opinion of her change once she partnered up and started having to work together?
No. In our challenges, she kicked ass. I think that we worked really well together. I don't know. I think that I don't know, like on the swimming challenge, I feel like I dogged it on that. I thought I was going to do way better, but it was just the mate, like I'm a great swimmer. I can hold my breath, but the technicality of the maze, I just got confused with trying to get the thing over it and moving. And the fact that it had the space, the ring had the space, like I was like, wait, can it go over this part or can it not? And then it would come off and I just, so I don't know.
It was a clusterfuck down there, wasn't it?
But I think that had I been with anybody else and we'd had the same frustration, I think we would have been like screaming, or not screaming, but just frustrated with each other or all this. But I don't know, we had like a very, like each competition we did, it was very like, there were moments where I thought she was going to be like, come on, man. And she was just very like, you got it. All right, let's go. Okay, cool. Just keep going. You got it, and vice versa. So.
But up until that point, you were smashing the challenges. We had, first of all, slip and slide, smashed it. Easy peasy. You made that look like easy work.
Yeah.
Then we had Release the Rainbow. Is that right? Again.
No. The pucks.
Pucks. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard.
Who knew?
Shuffleboard was great. That one was pretty easy. the rainbow one, I was lucky that I wasn't tied to anybody.
Yeah.
So I was
and
pretty.
you came back.
And then I was able to come back and help you guys.
Where Casper didn't, and helped me and Henny all the way through that frickin' maze.
Do you think
like
Wes did that on purpose?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, because there's no
100%.
way.
If you'd played that game before, the first thing he said was, I've played this game before.
I played this game before. The rules were clearly stated. We all discussed, okay, before we lock in, look around to see if anybody needs any help.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, once we get into the excitement of it, Casper's, we just want to finish. We just want to get it done. So Casper runs, goes to lock in. There's no way that Wes was like...
He totally wanted him to.
He watched him lock in and knew.
Of course.
He's like, all right, cool. We lost one person. Now they have an upper hand.
Yeah, of course.
He had to.
Of course. I don't doubt.
And because he was so adamant about, I'm the leader, listen to me, I know the rules, listen to me, I'm the leader.
Totally. And then obviously I think the other mistake we made there was we should have split up. Because obviously it was me and Henny, we should have taken me and Anissa or me and Tori.
Yeah.
And we should have come at that from a different perspective.
Yeah. And that opened my eyes up to Wes too, because I was just like, there's no way that was on accident.
Right.
I mean, there's just no
You're
way.
the only person, your only job is to watch everything that's going on and
You're
make
not
sure
doing anything. You're just standing there and you know the rules and you see and I was on the other side running away from Wes to tie in.
So he already had eyes on you.
No. Casper was right next to him running to tie in. So it wasn't like he was looking over here and then he saw, oh, Casper, why'd you tie in?
Yeah.
He's literally like,
so you heard
okay, he's locked in.
Yep.
Now that he's not going to be able to go and help them and they're going to be struggling, And then that's when Casper's like, oh my God, Drake, don't lock in. And I'm like, oh yeah. And I knew, and then that's why afterwards Wes was like, oh, well, that rule wasn't explained correctly. I'm like, then how come when Casper said don't lock in, Drake, I knew exactly why he said don't lock in and I ran back to help.
Exactly.
Because that rule was clearly stated.
Yeah.
And we all had talked about don't lock in because you can come back to help. So right when Casper said don't lock in, my brain went, oh yeah, I got to go back and help.
Got you.
And then Wes was like, no, that wasn't said. They didn't say that. I'm like, well, then why did my brain know to go back? Why didn't I just go, why? What am I supposed to do now?
Of course.
Go help. No, I knew exactly to go back to help.
So Wes, if you're watching, you suck.
Yeah.
You suck eggs. Looking back, what was your lasting memory of the show? What's the thing because The Challenge is such an amazing show to be a part of. It throws you in and out of your comfort zones and you get to act like a bit of a child. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the lasting memory you think, oh my God, I'll never get to do that again. That was wicked.
I mean, I'll never get to do that again. I guess in that grooving, but I mean, the van rides, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah, just on the way to the challenges. Those were the most fun, It was like, I mean, the challenges were fun and the eliminations were always exciting.
Mm-hmm. They were indeed.
But as far as a lasting memory for me, it'd be all the stuff that happened that didn't get shot.
Would you do the show again? Drake.
I mean,
get him, Drake.
I would probably do it again, yeah.
Hey.
I would probably do it again, but I would have to have absolute open free schedule, because that's another thing that tripped me out about the show. I wasn't expecting to be on for so long, and I thought, I'm like, dude, Aaron, I looked at all the contestants, I'm like, I'm gonna be on here for 2 days. I'm gonna last for an episode, 2 episodes.
I felt like there came a point where you suddenly dropped in and you were invested.
That's what that's what happened.
You got
then
addicted.
I got into it.
We're gonna come and talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I got into it, but yeah, I didn't expect to I didn't expect it to be such a mind trip, but after it was all said and done and looking back at it, I guess I'd do it again.
Yes, Drake.
It's rough though. It's
totally.
It would absolutely have to. I mean, it would just this time was for charity and for fun. But it would have to be absolutely like I have nothing to do and I just want to go like have some fun.
Yeah, for real.
You know?
Holiday.
Yeah, and just lose my mind for a little bit. Because it is a trip. Yeah, if I've got something right after or I've got something coming up, like it's just
wicked. So our next section of the show is called Drake's Hot Takes. We're going to be talking to you all about music and the music industry, where it is right now. Now, you're super active on Twitter. You've got 3.5 million Twitter followers. You've had public Twitter feuds with the likes of Justin Bieber, and you are not one to back down. We know this from the challenge.
I think that Twitter is an amazing tool. I think that social media is an amazing tool, but that being said, it could be, it's like every great thing, it could be used for terrible things as well. But
for real,
I like it because I have a direct connection with my fans. I can go to them directly. They don't have to, because I remember if I wanted to, read the opinion of my favorite artist, or I wanted to hear what they thought of, their opinion on fashion or new trends or what's happening right now. I had to hope that there was an interview and an article in Spin magazine, and I was always into, not the most popular bands, more indie, more underground, more this. So they got little to no press. So to find out anything about them, I mean, you have to go to a show, or you'd have to, there's like this little, tastes that you'd get of these artists that you loved. And now you just follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and you're just opened up into their whole world, and they can just, I'm working on a song. Boom, I can go and find out what the fans think of it. Hey, what do you guys think about me working with this cat? Cool, boom, get an instant reaction. Hey guys, I'm thinking about playing in this part of the world. Who's out there? Boom, I can get a reaction, and it's like,
super engaged.
It's super engaged, and it's also, I think it's just more honest you can be more honest with your public, and they feel like you're being more honest and genuine,
So talking about honesty, if we're talking about Twitter and kind of public opinions, and how honest do you go? If we look at somebody who's had some really interesting things to say recently, Kanye West, how honest do you go? Is he inspirational at this moment in time, or is he dangerous, like with this level of honesty that he wants to put out in the world?
Well, I think it's a dangerous, I think it's very dangerous to say that being honest is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should always be honest, whatever you're, I don't know. I mean,
but should
should you keep things to yourself? Sure.
Should there be a filter?
But right, should there be a filter? Sure, but I don't. I mean, if somebody's passionate about something and they have a platform, and as long as they're not hurting anybody, and as long as nobody's being physically threatened or physically hurt. I mean, I don't see why somebody who has a belief about anything should be stifled to say what they believe or want to say. Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, that's what's amazing about the country that we live in, and the time and place that we're at in the world is that, yeah, sure, it's annoying when you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard and that guy's got the megaphone and he's screaming, but I'm just, I'm not one to look at that person and go, oh, shut up. I'm one to look at that person and go, oh, thank God that we live somewhere that they're able to do that. And if I had the compulsion to do something like that, and I had something that I believed in, or somebody was doing something, that I thought was absolutely abhorrent, I have the ability to go stand outside of their office building and protest them, and there's just so many places in the world where you don't have the ability to do that. You can, you speak out against the government and they're like, yeah, how do you like handcuffs in a prison cell?
Right.
So, I mean.
So you feel like we should be using these platforms as almost a celebration of freedom of speech. And perhaps with that goes hand in hand the idea that we might be offended by what people say.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody has the ability to block. Everybody has the ability to change the channel. Everybody has the ability to not, to turn their head. And as long as somebody isn't, physically threatening somebody or doing anything that, or that, isn't some I don't want to misspeak here, but, I just feel like
each to their own.
Each to their own, yeah. And you have the ability to block. You have the ability to change the channel. I mean, it's like people like in our position, we go on Twitter all the time. And we get, we have it on this side and that side where it's like, oh, you're so great, you're awesome, everything's great. And then on this side, it's like,
you're trash.
Oh my God. I mean, I would love for them to censor speech, and I would love for them to, tell them that they can't say that, but only when it's about me.
Yeah.
Of course. And then that's where you draw the line is like, well, on one hand, you want to say, hey, they can't say that about me, or they can't say that, or they can't say that. But then what about when someone turns around and says, well, you can't say it, and you can't, and it's like, whoa, wait, hang on. This isn't why,
So you'd rather have that uncensored, like the whole uncensored social media, definitely.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Twitter's a private company. They can do whatever they want to do, but I do think that this free exchange of information and thought and opinion and everything is uniting, and it's very good. It's really good. And I mean, obviously, people can destroy their lives through one tweet. They tweet the wrong thing, or they make a joke they thought was, off color, and all of a sudden it blows up in their face. They lose their jobs. They lose this. So there is a danger in it, but
to be used with caution.
Obviously, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't want to just stifle somebody's speech just because
it wasn't
there's a minority or a majority. Actually, if there's a majority of, that's why we have these things. It's like if there's a majority of people that don't agree with what you're saying, well, then the majority is just going to come in and shut you up. But we have the ability and the opportunity here to say, hey, the majority doesn't agree with what I'm saying, but it doesn't matter because the minority is going to get a voice here, and we're still going to be able to say what we want to say.
More about discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we're, and if we just lived by mob rule, and everybody who just didn't agree with you, then we would all just go shut them up, and then we would then that's not.
That would be a boring society.
Well, it'd be not just boring; it'd be devastating. It'd be detrimental.
Completely. You talked about turning heads earlier. Talking of turning heads, check us out in our leopard print.
I know. How
Boom,
about that?
Smashed it. Oh my God, we didn't even
tell
I
each
know.
other.
I was just like, yeah.
Heck yeah.
We are on another wavelength for real.
In the jungle.
Like, your fashion sense, Drake, is killer.
Thank you.
Like, when we were on the show together, you absolutely blew me away. Now, I'm not going to lie. This guy would turn up, let's say call time was 8 a.m. He'd turn up at what? 7:45, order steak and eggs, decked head to toe in Gucci. Fuck it. Unreal, this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I love clothes. I love fashion. I've been into fashion ever since I was a little kid, man. Like, I just, I grew up fascinated by rock and roll, by Elvis and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
Would you describe yourself as a bit of a rockabilly?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I mean more, I guess, a rocker, but one of the major things about, for some reason, for me growing up and watching and seeing these images of these people, where the clothes that they were wearing had such an impact and influence on the music that they were making and on,
the whole swag,
on everything. Yeah. So it was like, you can't be in the Rolling Stones and sound like that, but not look like cool, and not have this amazing fashion sense, or be a David Bowie, So I was always just fascinated by the fashion of rock and roll. I mean, even through, I grew up through Nirvana and Pearl Jam, like the 90s grunge thing. And even that had its own everything was, there's always fashion around music. So I've just been obsessed with it.
Did you tune in and watch any of the Met Gala?
I looked at all the red carpet.
For sure. Of course you did. What was your favorite look?
Okay, I'm going to be really, really, I'm going to get called out right now because I don't know his name. The dude from Black Panther.
Which one? Chadwick Boseman?
Chadwick Boseman.
Got you. Yeah.
That's how you go to the Met.
So he was wearing
That's how you go to
white, gold.
That's how you go to the Met Gala.
Got you.
That guy, oh my.
It wasn't all white suit though, was it? I felt like it was white.
No, it was all
jacket.
white. It was all white. It was,
And I felt like there
Who
was
was
like gold embroidery on the side.
Who was it?
Who he went with, female?
No, who designed it? Who he was wearing?
No idea. I have no idea. Let's find out. Fact check.
God. I'm having a brain fart and I don't have my phone to check. But anyway, it was like the white cape. He had the appliques with like the jewels with the crosses, and he just looked like royalty. Like just amazing.
And the theme
people
was
that went to the Met
bodied.
that weren't wearing stuff that's like out of control. Like Cardi B looked incredible.
Yeah.
Jeremy Scott obviously like dressed everyone.
Oh my
like,
God,
I mean, they all looked incredible. Everyone that wore Balmain was. J-Lo looked incredible.
She looked
like,
phenomenal.
Fire, right?
Oh my gosh.
Who
missed the mark?
Nick Cave and his girl, his date. I don't know who he went with, but they were Gucci runway off the runway. So she had on the big red velvet. You know, they looked amazing.
Yeah.
But they were literally just pulled right from the runway.
Right from the runway.
Yeah, I like, which is
Who
cool,
missed
which is
the mark,
cool.
though?
But it's like I would rather have. You know, if I go to the Met Gala, I want to have a complete. I mean, it's going
You're
to
gonna
be
be decked head
completely
to toe in
custom designed.
Gucci.
Like, I mean, if I can, call me Alessandra. If I can
Call
get them
him.
to make me something custom, then heck.
For
yeah.
real. Who missed the mark for you? Who did you think? No, didn't get the memo.
I thought Nicki Minaj looked a little boring, but I don't know. I don't know.
I felt like it could have been any outfit for any awards evening.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I say like who let me down, like everyone looked fire. Like everyone, there was what's his name was incredible.
Who?
Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Dude, he was Gucci. So sick. The back of his suit was amazing.
Yeah, for real. And you've seen his This Is America video?
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen the whole
Provocative?
thing.
Provocative or safe?
I've only seen parts of it, so
But
I
you've
don't know
obviously
yet.
seen the bit where he...
I've only seen the bit where he's dancing with his shirt off on the car, and I think that's pretty cool. But
Okay,
I
won't
have no
spoil
idea
it
what the
for you.
message of the video is. 'cause
You
I
need to
haven't
go
seen it
and
yet.
watch that one for sure. So Spotify recently removed R. Kelly's music from its playlist for behaviour outside of music. Do you think that streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple should be policing what gets played?
Well, I mean, when it comes to something like that, absolutely. I mean, I hope that well, actually, I would like to know, do you have your phone?
I do.
Do you have Spotify?
I do. Oh, no, I don't.
No?
I've got Apple Music. Go for
Because
it.
I was going to say, see if they have like Gary Glitter on there. Or see if they have like other people who are actually
Let's go
convicted.
Let's do a little fact check.
Because it's sometimes they just do stuff for the press.
Right.
And it's not really like they really care, you know? But I don't know. I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean,
They do.
they do, yeah. See, so that's my point. So that song's
So you
on
feel
there,
like
right?
it's perhaps...
That song's on there. They didn't take it off Spotify, right?
No.
It's still on there. So there's my point, So, but I think that, that's definitely something that, I mean, again, it's a private company. If they feel like there's somebody, I mean, R. Kelly, if they feel that that's, abhorrent behavior, then absolutely they should be able to do whatever they feel like,
For real.
So
if we're talking about labels and streaming, the music industry has changed. Labels are signing artists based upon metrics like YouTube for plays and followers. And so basically a pre-existing captive audience is now, more important than the content itself? People are obviously being able to get music from people who I guess have no background or previous background in music or actual talent. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know about the actual talent part. I mean, yeah, sure, there's people who are popping off that, that you're like, wait, what? Like, I don't get it. And it's just some sort of internet, sensation, or they're being, but I can't knock the ability for a 16-year-old kid in the middle of Lubbock, Texas, who has absolutely no opportunity to get out of his city or go to LA or New York or Nashville or anything like that, to get onto the internet and to be able to find fans and to be able to grow an audience himself, know? And that's like one of the most beautiful things as an artist and as a musician, to be able to have access to, because especially somebody like me who, like, I've been doing this before those outlets existed.
Yeah.
So, I'm old school. It's like, oh yeah, to to play for an audience of, you got to put a band together, and then you got to try and get signed, and then you got to go make a record, and then you got to go, it's old school, but now you can just make a song, put it on SoundCloud, make a Twitter page, make a YouTube page, and just start building your fan base. You know what I mean? Like these local acts have an ability, it used to be like, oh, get on my email list, or how are you going to connect with your fans?
More accessible.
Yeah, now it's accessible. And sure, because of that, there's going to be a lot of crap, a lot of junk to filter through. But then you're going to find so many gems and so many amazingly talented people that just couldn't get out of their city, or just didn't have the ability, didn't have the money, didn't have the opportunities or the resources to do what they needed to do,
For real. And talking about talented people, Lil Mama,
hell yeah,
jumping on, and the track isn't out yet, is it?
Not yet, no.
So I've seen. Did you release bits and bobs on social media? I feel like you released.
Oh yeah, we were on
it.
I mean, just like stuff when we were in the studio.
Yeah.
And
so the track I'm talking
clips,
about, is it called "Call Me When You're Lonely"?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that and how Lil Mama came to pop up and do a feature.
Well, Lil Mama was in the van on one of our many van rides that I loved.
Right.
And I was playing the tune, and she comes into the front of the van. She's like, "Call me when you're lonely, babe." She's like, "Man, this is fire. What is this? Who is this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is just one of my new songs." She's like, "Wait, I thought this was the radio." I was like, "Oh, that's so nice, Mama. Thanks."
Oh.
And she's like, "No, really, this is so good." And then she like keeps singing it to me whenever we were like in the challenges or whatever, just hanging out. And I was like, "Man, you got to jump on that song, Mama. You got to jump." She's like, "All right, well, I will, whatever." And I'm, we say that kind of stuff all the time, and it never comes to fruition. And I just happened to land in New York because I was supposed to drive straight to Long Island from Nashville. But this is how crazy the world works, man.
Go for it.
So I was supposed to be driving straight to Nashville. Some crazy, unexpected event happened that got us stuck in Nashville.
What was that?
Don't want to get into it. But it was a nightmare. All right.
Drake Bell, Nashville.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was all good. It was just a crew member. It was a crew member. It was a business.
I got you.
It was a little kerfluffle. You know what I mean?
Kerfluffle.
So we're stuck in Nashville, and we were going to drive to Long Island straight to our show, but instead we ended up flying from Nashville to New York. And we got in a day early.
Yep.
And so when we landed, I got the call. I got Lil Mama texting me. She's like, "Oh, I saw on Instagram. Oh, you're here. That's so cool. Let's hang out." And I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Let's hang out." And so just by chance, man, I just happened to be in the city. I had a bunch of stuff to do all day, so we're out all day, and then finally I'm at dinner. It's like 10:30 at night, and I'm thinking, "Oh man, I wanted to see Mama. Like that's such a bummer." It's like almost 11 o'clock at night. I guess she didn't have time or whatever. Then my phone rings, literally like 5 seconds later, and I'm like, "Hello?" And she's like, "Hey, when do you want to? Is there a studio you like to work at? Like, where do you want to meet?" I'm like, "It's 11 o'clock at night." Oh, I guess it's a little different in New York.
He's nocturnal.
Yeah, well, I mean, New York vibes are a little different. And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll get it together. I'll put it together." Blah 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 blah. And then we met at midnight, and she came into the studio, showed up around like 1 o'clock with all these verses and everything written out, and then started writing stuff like right in the room, and then went into the booth and cut this vocal, and I was just like, "Oh wow!" Because I mean, being on the like we didn't know, like I got to see Casper kind of open up like when we went to salsa and stuff like that, but. And it was cool to kind of like listen to Boobie's music. Like I got to vibe and play music with Boobie a little bit, but not very much. So I didn't get to see really what any of us did.
Yes.
We knew I'm not a huge football fan, so I didn't really know who Arian was. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I just knew everybody as who they were and as friends of mine.
Yeah.
So when Mama got in the booth and like did what she does, I was like,
did it blow you away?
Oh, dude, I was, I'm jet lagged. It's 3 hours later to me, so it's really like 3 o'clock in the morning. And, I'm just like, all right, let's get this session done. I'm excited. Like, I can't believe I happened to, because I was supposed to be in Long Island. I wasn't supposed to be here. I wouldn't have time to do this.
Right.
Like, how lucky. And then the second she starts laying her verse down, I was like, oh my God. I was like up. I was jumping around. I'm dancing to the song. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, turn it up. Like, Oh, it was just fire. It was so great.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm excited.
When can we anticipate?
This new music's going to be really
When can
cool.
we anticipate it? When's it going to be out?
It should be, well, we're mixing and mastering it on Monday.
Please have it out before the end of the show.
I really want to get it out before the end of the show.
Please
because then we could like use a little, like, hey,
Please.
check it out. Look what happened.
Stop it. I'm not going to the reunion show unless that song is playing when we walk in.
Exactly. But no, she did a killer job. And I'm excited. The new music is really cool. I'm doing some really cool collabs. Like, Mama's on it. I worked with, I got Tank God, who did Post Malone's Rockstar.
Yeah, tune. Absolute tune.
Josh Dunn is playing from 21 Pilots, is playing drums on a couple of tracks. Who else is on there? I'm supposed to be doing something with Lil Xan.
Yeah. Wicked. So it is going to be popping.
Yeah, it's like crazy. It's like all new sounds and.
When do you think the whole project's going to be completed? Do we know? Do we have?
Well, I've got 4. I'm not like making full records right now. I'm just kind of releasing singles. So I've got 4 new ones that I'm working on finishing right now. 2 that are closer than other 2. But probably like the next month or 2. Yeah. And then we'll be shooting a new video for Call Me When You're Lonely.
Yeah. And you've been touring. Are you still on tour now?
Basically, I'm always on tour.
I have 3 weeks. Like you're a person that it's just literally like, okay, I'm doing this, then I'm touring, and then I'm here.
Yeah, I'm home for about 2 weeks right now. That's like my downtime.
Yeah,
and then I have a show about every day or every other day.
Got you.
In June.
Absolutely winning.
And then I'm going to Peru, Ecuador, Australia.
You're all over,
all
man.
Over, yeah.
You are all over. Yeah. I really want to talk about one thing, because one thing that struck me about you and our conversations whilst we were on the challenge is I feel like you are a natural born winner. Now, your mum was a world class billiards player.
She's a 2-time world champion billiard player.
It's so insane on so many levels, isn't it?
It blows my mind. I couldn't be more proud. It's so cool. And plus, because I'm like completely obsessed with pool.
Yeah. We haven't had a game yet.
I know. I'd love to play. I play as often as I can.
When you get back into town after this trip,
definitely,
give me a little time to.
Golf and pool. It's like, that's my, I just kind of, those are my relaxing, chill out.
Golf
I love.
too, darling.
Golf you golf?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I got my first birdie the other week.
What?
Yeah. First birdie. I'm
Par 3?
so happy. Par 3.
Yeah.
Little chip into the
I
hole.
do. The par.
Love it.
So cute.
Bore you with the golf chat.
That's awesome. I was so bummed. I just got back from 10 days in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And my last show was in Hawaii for this last tour I was on like since January. And I thought, hey, I have last shows in Hawaii. I may as well just stay in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So we stayed for 10 days and I brought my golf clubs and lugged them around everything. There's like 40 golf courses on the island of Oahu.
Yeah.
One 5 minutes from me, one of the nicest courses. I didn't touch my golf clubs once.
No.
Not once. I don't know why. I was just chilling and just and
sometimes you got it.
And then like to go make the appointment, like show up on time, and then like are there gonna be other people? There's gonna be a long
on holiday.
wait.
You're Hawaii. You're ready.
Next time. When I have like 20 days there, I'll do some golfing there. But I love it.
Continuing on the theme of winning, your mum describes you as having champion blood, which is a phrase.
My mom describes me as having champion blood?
Yeah, you said in one of our discussions.
Oh, yeah.
And that is one of the things that has stuck with me. That phrase, like champion blood. Talk to us. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
I don't know. It's just something my mom always told me because she's like, my mom's incredible, man. She, the thing about my mom is if she loses, she didn't really care about winning. She didn't care to win. Like she has the inability to lose if she wants to win. And her nickname, everybody in pool has a nickname, you know, the Scorpion, the Black Widow, all these different names, and my mom's was the bankroll.
I love it.
Because if the purse was $5,000, my mom would show up, get 3rd place, 4th place, whatever. The purse is $50,000. Everyone knew who was going to win the tournament.
For real.
Everyone. The bankroll. Because if the money's low, she would be at home playing with me and my brothers, and she'd go practice a little bit, and then she'd come and, make our lunches for school and cook dinner and then
She's just
come back and practice. And she's just like, whatever. Because
it's a
she's
hobby.
like, yeah, I mean, she's like, the tournament will be just more practice, whatever. But then when it's 50,000 or 25 grand, 100 grand, whatever.
Killer focus.
Then she doesn't, you don't go in the pool room. She's just 14 hours, like she will not leave the pool table.
See, I feel like you have that trait as well. Like, when does that come out of you? When do you see it the most?
I mean, I'd say probably just music. I mean, having the ability to sit and just play guitar for hours and hours and hours and practice and get over, miss the shot 100 times until you get it and get it and get it. And the same thing with guitar. It's like, it's interesting because like playing now, you don't remember. It's hard to remember picking up a guitar and it being foreign to you and it not just being like an extension of you and just being able to pick it up and just whatever.
Yeah. It's just me and a javelin.
But right, exactly. So like you get it in your hands and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm home. I know this. But like, and it's kind of almost hard to remember like holding it being foreign in your hand. But at one time, you had no idea how to hold it.
For real.
I didn't know how to hold the guitar. I didn't know how to make a chord.
For real.
But I don't really like remember that. But it takes, hours and hours and hours of dedication and, missed phone calls and not going out with your friends and not hanging out and just sleeping with your guitar, waking up and playing before you go to school and coming home right after school and playing guitar and not, staying up all night and playing guitar. And it's the same thing as her around a pool table.
Do you feel that that's is it that killer mentality that kept you in and focused on the guitar, or was it your love for guitar? So was it your desire to want to kind of conquer this instrument and be able to play it like the best of them?
Definitely both. I mean, it was definitely my love for it. And I think it's the same with her. She has a passion for the game. She doesn't compete anymore just because, what she says, she just goes, well, I know what it takes. And I'd rather hang out with my husband and watch movies at night and, hang out and be grandma with my grandkids than what I'd have to do to go be the number one player. Yeah. But she could absolutely go and dominate right now. But she's at an age and a time in her life where she's like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work, So she likes just chilling out. So she teaches more now. But now, and I swear, if she went and competed now, no one would be able to touch her. She talks about her playing now. Like, she goes, Drake, if I knew, because she teaches now, and it's the same thing. Like when I teach guitar,
if you knew then what you know now,
right? When I sit down with somebody and I'm instructing guitar or teaching somebody even basic stuff, like they've never picked up a guitar, and I'm just showing them stuff. I learn stuff. I learn stuff because I'm going back to the basics, and then I'm like telling them, oh, you need to do it this way. And I'm like, oh, I don't even do it that way.
Oh my God.
Oh, I should fix that. Like, oh yeah, that's right. I kind of cut that corner. Oh, I cut that corner there too. I should work on that myself. And so through teaching, you learn so much. And that's what she's come back and told me. I'm like, exactly what I feel with guitar, Mom. Yep. And
I feel like I'd be a better athlete.
Yeah. She's like, if I knew at 30 what I know right now, no one would be able to touch me. And it's funny too, because she, like, for example, the pool cue she used too, like, I really wanted it because, just sentimental, and I wanted to go out and play with all this stuff. She's like, you can have it, but don't go out and play with that tree branch. I'm like, what? She's like, that cue is so terrible. I don't know how I won one match with that cue.
Wow, because things have advanced so much.
And also she just was like, it was just, she's not going to spend money on the cue or whatever. Yeah. But it was like, it was the equivalent of like, well, sure, some big baseball player right now, can do that, can hit that many home runs. Well, obviously, look at the equipment he's using. Yeah. Babe Ruth had a stick, or Hank Aaron had like such less, caliber of equipment, whatever. But that's the same kind of thing. And she's like, man, if I knew what I knew now and I had, a good cue, she's like, I'm ready for her no comeback. Competition.
I'm ready. Talking about knowing what you know now, how would you do life differently? Is there anything you'd do differently? Big question. We're looking for a big answer.
I think the only thing that I would say that I've learned just in life in general would be how important even the subtlest or smallest of relationships are, and you don't know when or how or where that person or relationship may come back into your life or may be able to help you or you may be able to help them or whatever, you know. So it's just
and also when it might come to an end. Right,
exactly. That as well. You know, so it's like just keeping relationships just in a good place, you know, and not burning bridges. And you know, because as a young person in this industry, I started really young, you take a lot for granted. Completely. You know, it's like, this is what I get. This is what you get, you know, and this is the director I'm working with this day, and that's the director I work with tomorrow, and this is whatever. But also because I've been in here so long, you realize how tiny this little town is. Yeah. You know, and everybody knows everybody, and everybody talks to everybody, and, you know, all it takes, I mean, I you know, in my gym, I was talking to a producer, and he's done massive stuff, and it's just crazy. He was telling me all it takes is to be at lunch with a friend of mine, and that friend of mine go, "Oh, you're thinking about Sarah so-and-so? Oh, yeah, she worked on my buddy's movie. She's a little bit of a handful. I mean, she's great performance, but she kind of showed up late a few times, kind of a handful." Yeah. Just in passing, not even trying to warn him about nothing. Just like, oh, you're looking at her. Oh yeah, she's great performance, but just like, I don't know, a little difficult to work with. Anyway, I'll have the Reuben. Yep, okay, cool. He's like, that's all it takes, and I'll never cast that actress. And you're just like, oh my God. And this is a guy who does major blockbuster motion pictures. For real. That'll never cast that girl or that guy because in passing, somebody was like, she was a little difficult. He you know what? He didn't show up on time a few days. It was kind of rough with the crew. Great performance though, great actor. But they're like, I don't care. I got to be with this guy for 3 months in New Zealand. Yeah, for real. So I need a guy that I can vibe with and gives a good performance. Yeah. So literally all it takes is just one little, it wasn't my cup of tea. Like that, literally, he wasn't my cup of tea, will get you not cast in a major motion picture. Yep. So just shake babies, kiss hands, and act like you're trying to get voted into office. Talking about shaking babies, we don't have any, but we do have a bag of lines. This is the final part of our segment, and it's going to be quick fire questions. Now, this is Louise's bag of limes. On each lime, and I want you to have a little root around, pull out a lime and on it has a question. If you don't know what it says, ask me. CT. Your thoughts on CT? I love CT. CT's my boy. I've actually, spoke to CT a lot after the show, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's got a big heart. Yeah. He's got a really big heart, and he's a really good guy. And, I don't watch much of the show, but I know he's got sort of a reputation of being a little rough around the edges. And I feel like he's getting more polished up, though. But I really love him. I love that guy. He's a really good guy. Wicked. Next up. Keep it moving. Dig deep. Who would you call if you were lonely? Who would I call if I was lonely? Probably my girlfriend. Hey. But a more interesting answer, I would call Lil Mama. Lil Mama. Dude, real. She is so fun. Us in the studio, I can't believe I didn't have a cameraman there documenting it because it was so I would have loved funny. To have been a fly on the wall. So funny. Salida. Come on. She was great. I love her. She's another huge heart and so sweet. She's a babe. Yeah, and she's just drop dead gorgeous. Dynamite. Yeah. But just her vibe was she was great. Wicked. You could tell she was like from the islands. Most overrated, underrated artist. On The challenge?
No.
Oh, in real life?
Singer.
Oh, gee, Minnie. The most overrated? I don't know. I'll just say, I haven't even heard her music, or I don't have any real opinion on her or whatever, but I'll just say it because it's probably like a popular thing to say, is that Bad Bobby chick or whatever. The Cash Me Outside.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She's like nominated for Best Female Artist and stuff like that.
In conversations
now,
the
granted,
best female, and I'm not even going to mention the other best female rappers in the same sentence.
Oh, yeah. Now, granted,
best female
I've
rappers
not heard the song.
and her.
She could be fire. I mean, Cardi B came off Instagram. She's one of the most fire. Like, her flow is out of control, you know, and her songs are just like epic.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard I haven't heard her music, so I don't know. She might be really great, but I would just say that for now.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like it's coming more out of this virality than anything
but
else.
Who knows? Who knows? It's always, you know, I never want to knock artists.
And most
everyone's doing
underrated.
Their own thing, so. Underrated. Well, I wouldn't say he's underrated because he's one of the biggest artists, but I would say I don't think a lot of people realize how incredibly talented Charlie Puth is.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's out of control. I mean, he's a jazz pianist, you know? I mean, he can get in there with a 3-piece jazz band and just like so he's
kind of low key, I find.
Super low key. And then all of a sudden he sits down at the piano and you're just like, what the what? But yeah, I'd say at least his musicianship is underrated.
Yeah,
because I don't think that the layman who's not his major fan knows what an incredible talent he is.
Got you.
All right,
keep it moving, Drake. Keep it going.
Date vegan or go vegan for $250,000.
So we know that you are a big meat lover.
I love steak.
So what's it going to be? Are you going to date a vegan, or you have to go vegan for $250,000?
Okay,
and we can negotiate on the fee.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'd date a vegan for $250,000. That'd be the easy. That's easy.
You're not getting paid.
I don't have
to date the vegan.
Wait, what?
You have to either date the vegan or go vegan.
Oh.
For $250,000.
Like, I'll date anybody for $250,000. Date the llama for $250,000? No problem. Okay, let's see. Go vegan for $250,000. Well, obviously, I would date a vegan. Because I don't want to have to go vegan. But would I go vegan for $250,000? How long?
Forever.
Forever?
Life.
Not worth it.
No more steak and eggs.
Not worth it. No way. No way. I'll go make my own $250K.
Next question. Vegans, you know where to call Drake.
Okay, fuck, marry, kill.
Yes. It's for you.
But who? You got to give me three options.
People on the show. Only cast members in the challenge. So
you got to pick 3 cast members and give me a fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, so Salita.
Okay.
Tori.
Okay.
Anissa.
Aww. That's not nice.
Why?
Okay, because I don't want to kill Anissa.
You just did.
But
you
I have to kill
Anissa.
Anissa.
I'm sorry.
I do. Okay, I have to kill Anissa. I have to kill Anissa. Okay. This is very I don't
It's fine.
I'd have relations with Tori.
You do things with Tori.
And then I'd marry Salita.
For real.
Heck yeah.
Okay, there we go. Tori ain't mad at you. She is gonna be so pleased. That's her childhood crush. Yes, Kayla. Thoughts?
I love Kayla. I think she's badass. She's dope. I think the way she played the game was awesome. Mm-hmm. I think she's a really cool chick. Yeah, I mean, and her tattoos are. I love her tattoos.
Yes. How many have we got left?
Wes.
Parting words for Wes.
Wes loves to play the challenge.
He loves it.
Yeah. Wes is a cool dude, you know, smart guy.
Would you hang with him outside of the challenge?
Probably not. I mean, I would. I mean, I absolutely would because he's a cool guy. Like, if we were going to hang out, like, yeah. But, I don't know, he reminds me of my brother a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
West
I mean, I love my
Council.
brother. My brother's awesome, but we're just like totally into different stuff. Like he's not into music. He's like more technical. He's like there's just not a lot of stuff that we just connect with. So I love hanging out with my brother.
So for that reason,
but I wouldn't
he's cancelled.
But he wouldn't be like one of my bros that I like hang out with on a regular basis and connect with on like art and history and love, whatever,
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't golf with him. Or maybe you would.
Yeah, I mean, I would golf with him. Yeah.
Who's up next?
I don't know if we talk
or
about
what's up next.
Anyway. Drake on Drake.
Yes. Thoughts on Drake.
Oh my goodness.
You are the original Drake.
Oh my gosh. This one's hard. Okay. Yes, Drake on Drake.
Yeah.
What would you like to know?
Thoughts on Drake.
Thoughts on Drake the rapper?
Yep.
I think he's dope.
For real.
Yeah.
Okay, favorite Drake song?
I mean, I think that it's pretty interesting that Drake is both of our middle names.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, his name is Aubrey Drake.
Name? Yeah.
Jared Drake.
And what's yours then?
Jared Drake. Yeah.
Oh, so you're Jared Drake and he's Aubrey
Drake. Yeah.
But
just all my life growing up, I've just been called Drake. Like my dad called me Drake. I was enrolled in school as Drake, and it was just I've always just had a
favorite Drake song. Nice for what's popping.
Probably like I like Hotline Bling a lot. I really like that melody a lot.
Yeah.
And I like Controller.
Something about that. Oh, Controller.
I even referenced that in Lonely.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because I'm like acting like you got Controller.
Oh, for real.
I was like, oh, Drake doing Drake.
Drake on Drake.
Yeah.
On Drake on Drake. Okay, the final question, and this is the big one for Drake. We might be here a while.
Gucci or guitars?
For real.
You'll be surprised I'm not wearing any Gucci today.
If you had to
I'm only wearing Dolce & Gabbana.
You're not. If you had to get rid of all of the guitars or all of the Gucci in your life, which one would you get rid of? Now, I know this is conflicting.
I mean, I would obviously get rid of the Gucci. I mean, unfortunately, I love the Gucci, but I can always design my own dope Gucci. But the guitar, it's like
no one wants to go around building their own guitar.
Yeah, but not just that. It's like it's like the same question between, what would you give up, acting or music? And it's like, well, it's just sort of the same question, Gucci guitar. It's like, well, I love acting. I love fashion. I love, I love being on a set. But I can't survive without music. I can't survive without getting what when you're doing a show, you're doing a TV, you're playing a character that somebody else created, that someone else, developed, and you're hoping you're doing what they envisioned.
But when it's
music, it's yours, and it's that's why it's so funny sometimes when actors, they get so into their craft, and it's like, oh, you don't understand what it's like to being in front of the camera. It's like taking your clothes off and turning around slowly, and everybody judging you and doing. I'm like, whatever, dude, you're playing a character. You're pretending.
For real.
They're not judging you, man. They're judging the character. Like, you didn't do a good job on that character. Well, guess what?
Sucks.
You have 50 people to blame.
Yeah.
You have 75 people to blame. You could be like, oh, well, the writing was terrible. Oh, well, the director didn't direct me properly. Or, it was the other actor in the scene. Or, it was this and this. When you're up on stage with your guitar and nothing else, singing a song that you wrote in your bedroom in front of a crowd full of people, that's much more nerve-wracking.
For real.
Because that's you. And when they say that they like it or they don't like it, they're saying they don't like what you created from nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you can go, oh, well, I didn't write that line.
Yeah.
Oh, that movie wasn't really that funny. I didn't write it. I just got paid to be in it. Like I just did my job. I showed up and did my job. It ain't my fault. But as a musician, as a writer, a songwriter, you're bearing your soul. You're sitting there going, it's like funny. There was this lyric. Who I can't remember what the artist was, but he had this lyric that was like, I've never talked to my dad about this. Like he's talking about all these issues that he has, and he's like, I've never talked to my dad about this, so I'll just write it in a song and tell the whole world about it. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. It's like you take these
internalization,
insanely serious and personal moments in your life, and things that are so, you wouldn't tell your best friend. You wouldn't, you would be weary of confiding in them about this. Mm-hmm. Yet we're, and we're so vulnerable as artists and all this. And then we, on the other hand, we turn around and we write it down on paper, and then we record it, and then we give it to the entire world.
Real.
To sit there and judge.
Deep.
And say, oh, well, I can't believe he's going through that. And that line hit me so much. It was like, dude, I wouldn't even talk about this shit with my dad.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get on stage and tell the whole world about it? Mm-hmm. Like, whoa, that's kind of trippy. You know what I mean?
Deep.
Yeah, it's cool.
No.
But yeah, that's why I think like just music and art, like your own artistry is much more rewarding and important. And
sure. So you heard it here first. Gucci's out, guitars are in.
Yeah.
Drake, thank you so much for coming through. I'm so glad
this is awesome. Yeah, thank you.
You were jetting off again.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already. Twitter,
just
Instagram.
all the normies. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's just Drake Bell. Nothing
and then
fancy.
Music should be coming out when?
Yeah, we should have music out in the next few weeks. A new video coming. I'm gonna be working with the director who did my buddy Pump.
Lil Pump.
Who did a Sked-It and Gucci Gang. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use the same director and
amazing.
Have some fun.
Oh, for real. I can tell. Look at your
hopefully
face.
Mama gets in the video.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So that would be really sick.
Amazing.
But yeah, so a lot of stuff just brewing and ready to serve.
Thank you so much for coming. And before you leave, I've got your little present. Nothing major. Don't get excited.
A present? No, stop it.
Don't get excited and don't open it yet. It's nothing exciting and it's for your home.
There's two
it's not
Gucci boxes
a
in here.
Gucci jumper.
But it smells like Gucci.
It does.
Oh, you come here.
Oh,
stop it. I didn't bring you anything.
You didn't have to. You brought me you.
Oh, that is so sweet. Yes, she got me an Instagram post.
Woo! Thank you so much for coming
that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much.
This has been Slay Sunday. Kill it, babe.
Heck yeah. Gucci gang.